Okay, I'm back again with another one of my favourite summer ferments. This is a fantastic one if you grow your own tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomatoes for this. It's a fermented tomato salsa and it just tastes so zingy and alive. It is absolutely delicious. It tastes amazing actually just as it is, but if you allow it to just ferment for 3 days, you get that beautiful sort of umami, fermenty, tang. It's just the most lovely, delicious thing. Once you make it, you'll just, you'll never stop making it because it's so delicious, you'll just eat it all. Right, so what we need for this recipe, any kind of tomatoes, we need roughly about 500 grams. I've already chopped mine up in here in the bowl. We want a couple of peppers, and again from a diversity point of view, I like to go for different colours. So what I've got in here is I've got a yellow and a green pepper that I've chopped up already, so I'm going to put that in the bowl. Again we have a red onion. I do love red onions. Onions are all great, they're full of prebiotic fibre, they're great infection fighters, but for me, the red onions have the edge over white onions. They have more polyphenols. Generally in nature, anything that is brightly coloured is going to have benefits for our health. All sorts of bioactive compounds and stuff. So I've got a red onion, which I have also chopped up. So you want to chop your veggies up just nice and small, sort of bite-sized pieces. So you don't want to have great big lumps. So I'm going to put the onion in the bowl. I've got some really lovely spices going into this one as well, so that's my onion going in. Other thing, again, it's a love it or hate it herb, is coriander. I love coriander, so coriander is an incredible detoxifier. It tastes amazing. This recipe also has lime in it, so lime and coriander together are just an incredible flavour combination. If you don't like coriander, just leave it out, or you can add flat leaf parsley instead. But I've got about a couple of tablespoons here, again just finely chopped up, so I'm going to put them in the bowl. I have some garlic here. Love garlic. Garlic is nature's antibiotic, adds incredible flavour. And what I tend to do if I am adding garlic to a ferment is I like to zest it finely. So either put it through a garlic press, zest it, or chop it really finely. It's actually easier. I have this nice zester, so that's what I do. Do it that way. And if you like a lot of garlic, you can put in some extra garlic. Now I find about 2 cloves is just about right. Now this just smells absolutely incredible. I have put my gloves on actually this time because tomatoes can be a wee bit acidic for massaging, and I've got quite sensitive skin. Right, so I put, that's 2 cloves of garlic. Right, most importantly, again, this is a ferment, so we're going to add some salt. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, and again, it's the pink Himalayan salt is my favourite salt, but any natural salt. Try not to use table salt, it's not ideal. Any natural salt, and you want fine salt, because again, it's for surface area. The salt draws the liquid out of the cell walls, so you don't want to have big lumps of salt, you want to have fine salt. So if you do have lumps of salt, you want to bash it down and make it nice and fine. Right, next up I'm going to add some, now I've got cumin, and I can actually add cumin seeds or ground cumin, either or. So I'm going to add between half a teaspoon and a teaspoon. I love the smell of cumin. Let me put that in. If you like heat, you can add some chili flakes. The other ingredient which I forgot to get out my spice drawer is smoked paprika, which is a wonderful ingredient, so it smells amazing as well. So again, between half and a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then I'm going to put in some black pepper, a wee bit of black pepper. And then I'm going to put in a good squeeze of lime. Now again, you can add between juice of half, it depends how juicy your limes are, to be honest. Juice of a lime or half a lime. It depends. What you want to do though is to give your salsa a wee taste. And then if you want to add anything extra, I've got another bit of half lime here, you can just do that. Again, this tastes absolutely incredible just as it is. So once you've fermented that for a few days, it is absolutely wonderful. So the good thing also about tomatoes, they're really juicy, so it really doesn't take long to start to get some brine. That's a big bit of coriander stuff. So again, for summer barbecues, for having with your tortilla chips, oh, this is just wonderful stuff. Have it on sourdough bruschetta with, if you like, goat's cheese or a nice creamy cheese with the tomato salsa is absolutely delicious. It is so zingy. The wonderful thing is about the tomato salsa, you can actually use the brine as you would, like instead of lemon juice or vinegar, you can add the brine from the tomatoes, because it's only a 3-day fermentation, this one, but it is slightly acidic because we've got the lime juice in it. So I add it if I'm making my lovely cashew cheese, which I would normally add lemon juice to. I add the fermented brine instead, and it just packs an absolute punch for flavour. What you can also do is just mash some up with an avocado, and you've got like a fermented guacamole. If you enjoy a Bloody Mary, what you can do is you can use some of the brine from this, and it just gives it the most incredible zing. So that's pretty much it. Again, you can see there's tons of brine coming out of that. Oh, that just tastes delicious. Right, so again I have a litre clip top jar, just clean, not sterilised, just washed and then rinsed. What I'm going to do is start to pack my tomato salsa in here. Again, bear in mind, you want to make sure there's no oxygen in here, so if you just give it a good squash, we're trying to get oxygen out. And the wee lactobacillus bacteria that we're trying to harness, they work in an anaerobic environment, so we want to make sure we keep them underneath the brine. So you can see this is an incredibly juicy ferment. So I don't know if you can see, but I've left, there's a little gap at the top, so you don't want to use a really big jar. A litre size jar or even a 750 glass clip top jar is fine for that. So that's my tomato salsa all in the jar. What I'm going to do is, in the summer, as I actually have a grapevine in the garden. The grapes are really not edible at all, but the leaves are fantastic for topping a ferment. So I'm going to put my 2 little leaves in there. And then what I can do is either add, I've got a nice wee glass fermenting weight, or you can add one of these glass goo pots. They fit perfectly in the top. And I'm just going to put that in there and clip that shut. If you don't have any leaves of any kind, nasturtium leaves also work, bottom end of a butternut squash. If you don't have any of them, excuse me, you can actually just add a little Ziploc bag in the top and sit that in the top. Then you can add some pebbles or stones, or you can just put a little brine in the top to weigh it down. And this is going to just sit in the kitchen at room temperature, and it's literally 3 days. So that's all it is. It's 3-day fermentation. Then what you do is carefully open it and you can put it in the fridge. What I tend to do with all my summer ferments is I decant them into smaller jars to store in the fridge, because it means then that you're not bringing a big jar out and everyone helping themselves, and then you're opening the jar and then you're putting it back in the fridge, because every time you open the jar you're opening it to wild yeast and cam yeast that happens to be in the air. So you want to try and keep your ferments as delicious as possible for as long as possible. What happens over time with the tomato ones, because tomatoes are so sweet and juicy, they sometimes can start to taste a wee bit alcoholic over time. But I actually have tomato salsa that I've kept in the fridge since last year, and it's still edible. It just becomes incredibly fizzy and a wee bit alcoholic, which is not maybe the kind of flavour that we're going for. And the other thing you can do with your tomato salsa is you can, if you want to, I've made various ones and put a wee bit of fruit in as well. I did one with peach. I had one of these nice flat peaches, cut that up and put it in. I've done them with pineapple, I've done them with different herbs, with sage, with oregano, different herbs, so you can customise it to whatever you want. But this is a really brilliant basic recipe, so I really hope you give that a go, because it's going to totally liven up all your food over the summer and really impress your friends and family. So I hope you give that a go, because it's absolutely delicious and really, really simple.